Bitzskee.
The Dragon and the Mouse. Rory and Miles, the Legend of the Sky Guardian. Episode 9, The Quest for the Sapphire Staff. Prologue, The Festival of Windermere. The valley of Windermere shimmered in the morning sun. It was the day of the harvest festival, and animals from every corner of the valley had gathered to celebrate. Peace, the gods, the fertile and forever giving land, and the mighty young heroes will all be on this year's agenda. Also this year the return of the rainbow opal, which has stopped the valley freezing, and the golden scarab amulet which prevented the valley overheating. Colorful tents flapped in the breeze, children played near the stream, and Mercia the meerkat, a cheerful herbalist, stirred pots of sweet fruit punch, hearty soups and brewed specialties made from foraged herbs. "Try the apricot and mint pudding," she called from her stall, handing a bowl to Bashir the blacksmith. Bashir, a strong, noble panther with a red bandana on his head. Nearby, the heroes of the valley stood in the crowd. Rory the dragon, with gleaming chromium scales, stood tall, still unsure of his true strength. Miles the mouse, clever and quick in his thunderbolt boots, smiled proudly with his sterling spade slung on his back. Maisie the jerboa, elegant in her golden headpiece, twitched her ears and listened to distant voices. And Ember the aura dragon, glowing faintly red, stood quietly nearby, always watching, always ready. Tullius the elder, a wise old tortoise with a long beard and kind eyes, climbed onto a wooden box and raised his stick. To another year of harvest, hope, and heroism, he shouted. "Cheers!" the crowd roared. Tullius smiled. "And to our brave heroes, Rory, Miles, Maisie, and Ember, who brought back warmth, peace and prosperity to our valley." Tullius continued to address the crowd when suddenly a shadow swept over the land. Dark clouds consumed the sun. The skies turned from blue to black. A strange magical power could be felt throughout the valley. Purple lightning spread through the sky like growing veins that gave life to the harrowing clouds. Something was missing. There was no thunder, like arteries flowing without oxygen. It continued silently creeping across the horizon. Something was coming, and this time it felt much, much bigger. Gasps filled the air. "Back to your homes," cried the village guards. The celebration ended in fear and confusion. The heroes rushed to Tullius. "I hope not, but I feared this," the elder said gravely. "I believe this is Thanasis." Chapter 1, A Dangerous Truth. "Who's Thanasis?" Rory asked. Tullius looked down. "He was my master, a teacher of harnessing true magical power. A wizard. Many lunar cycles prior, I was his apprentice before I became an alchemist." "You never told us that," said Miles, blinking. "I kept it hidden." Thanasis grew dark, obsessed with power. "I left him. He was sealed away. But I believe he's found a way to reach outside, using the power of illusion." "You mean?" "He's been tricking people," Maisie asked. "Exactly. It's the only thing that makes sense, and the only one that could have caused all the recent chaos in the valley. And to stop him, we need my relic, the Sapphire Staff." "You have a relic?" Rory asked. "I do. But it's more than a relic, it's the key to the final seal, forged by the power of the gods. I broke it into 3 parts to keep it safe: the shaft, the crown, and the sapphire gemstone. Without them, the final door inside the temple cannot be opened. One piece is buried in my garden, said Tullius. Another lies in the dunes of the desert. The third, hidden deep in Lake Lucid. I'll dig it up, squeaked Miles, gripping his spade. I'll go to the dunes, chirped Maisie, confidently. I'll go to the lake, Ember offered, willingly. You will all need help, said Tullius. Rory, you are the Sky Guardian. Only you can carry them where they need to go. You must fly faster and further than ever. He handed Rory a shimmering silver vial. This is the potion of soaring. If you grow tired, drink it. It will give you strength. Then, from a hidden satchel, he pulled out 3 glowing blue potions. These are potions of the mind's eye. It shows the relic's location in your thoughts, but only briefly. Use it wisely. The team began to discuss how they could approach the situation. After much deliberation, Miles stepped forward. I have an idea, let's split up. Really, are you sure that's wise? Questioned Tullius. We are short of time, Elder. But maybe Rory can take Maisie and Ember to the lake. Then fly Maisie to the dunes. I'll stay with you, Elder, to dig up the last piece. That's actually a brilliant plan, Miles, affirmed Tullius. You're growing into your title, Hero of the Realm. Miles smiled. You must all be very careful and trust your instincts. We do not know what Thanasis is up to. The dark magical clouds now fully covered the sky. The team all looked up, awed in dread. This must be him. He must be stopped. The heroes all nodded to the Elder. Chapter 2: Clues and Confusion. The heroes ventured towards Lake Lucid. Dark clouds hovered above, still fizzing with static magic, but the water still glimmered below, as normal. This is where I go, said Ember. I'm ready. Be careful, said Rory, worried. Ember smiled. Thank you, Rory, and Maisie. Maisie stepped forward. Miles told us about the Leviathan in the glacial caverns, and what you did. You're amazing. Feeling validated, the aura dragon beamed. You are too, she reciprocated. And me, Rory jested, with a cheeky grin. Yes, and you are as well, replied Ember with a chuckle. Ember sipped the potion of the mind's eye, and dove into the water. Her body glowed in a mesmerizing aura, as she faded below the surface to the lake's depths. Rory and Maisie turned towards the dunes of the desert. Now, we play our part, Rory voiced. We've got this, declared Maisie. Rory winked at Maisie, then the deity leapt onto Rory's back. Here we go. Rory spread his wings, and with immense force, swoosh! Rory blasted off into the air like a rocket, leaving a dusty plume in his wake. Back at Tullius's house, Teagues, the keen clever young tortoise, was playing in his room. Miles and Tullius went to the back garden. Miles was ready to dig for the relic. This garden is huge, he muttered. I think it's near that oak tree, Tullius pointed. Miles whipped out his sterling spade, zoomed over in his thunderbolt boots, and started to dig. Tullius trotted off back inside his humble abode to make some tea, and left Miles to dig. Part way through digging, Miles heard the elder's voice. "No, wait! Try over here." He peered up to see Tullius across the way. "Okay, I'll try there." Miles dashed across the garden. 2 shovels in, the elder wavered once more. "Actually, maybe this spot." Miles scratched his head, bemused. "Elder? Are you sure?" But suddenly, another voice called from the house. "Miles? What are you doing?" Miles froze, then turned slowly towards the cottage in trepidation. There was a Tullius still behind him. But now another one stood at the door. "What's going on?" Miles shrieked. "How can you be in 2 places at once?" The Tullius in the garden suddenly flashed a purple spark and disappeared within a puff of dark smoke. Tullius turned white. Just one masterful stroke from the brush of the Narcissus erased the color from his canvas. He looked deeply worried. "I know it's him. He's using illusions. It's the Narcissus. This must be how he can reach beyond the outer realm." They hurried inside. Over warm tea, Tullius explained everything to the young hero, why he had to keep secrets to protect the valley, that he did not think any of this was possible, as the Narcissus was sealed away. He explained he left his master because the Narcissus grew powerful with extremely dark evil and had to be exiled. Even the gods began to fear him. After tea with some ginger-nut biscuits, Miles drank his potion. "Now, close your eyes, see with your mind," coaxed the wise old tortoise. Suddenly, Miles shouted, "Over there! That tree!" He ran outside, Tullius shuffled behind, and Miles dug rapidly. With a clank, Miles struck something. "It's the shaft!" Tullius breathed a sigh of relief. They both tugged it from the ground, still polished and glowing. "Let's head to the temple," said Miles. As they left the cottage, Bashir appeared. "Take this torch," he said. "You may need it. Something strange is happening in the village. My daughter, Amel. She's having visions." Tullius looked grim, tired, and frustrated. He gave Bashir a hug. "I'll stay and care for the youngers," Bashir declared. "I will meet you at the temple when I can. It's affecting the younger villagers. This must stop now." "Please look after Teagues too," Tullius pleaded. Bashir put his paw on the elder's shoulder. "You never had to ask, old friend." Miles and Tullius began their journey back to the temple. Teagues seemed okay, but Bashir took Teagues with him to check on the other villagers and get back home to his poorly cub Amor. Chapter 3: Fire and Water. Ember swam deeper and deeper into Lake Lucid. Within her radiant aura she was able to sip the potion underwater. She did so, then closed her eyes. "There," she whispered, "I see the relic." But as she swam towards it, something darted past. A flash of red. Could that be another? Or a dragon? She pursued, glowing bright, eager, but cautious, only to find jagged rocks and mangled weeds. She searched around the area, nothing. Shaken and confused, Ember remembered her mission. She dove to the bottom and saw a faint sparkle between 2 rocks. The reflection from her aura enabled her to see it twinkle between unnaturally placed stones. She moved the stones and there it was, the sapphire stone. "It's beautiful," she whispered, mesmerized by its magnificent opulence. She dashed towards the surface with purpose. Ascending, she took one last glance, and Ember spotted a tunnel. But this was no normal tunnel, clearly engineered by someone or something. Curious, she approached. Keen to explore, she persisted with her investigation. Upon entering, an underwater current carried her. Clutching the sapphire stone, she drifted through a long winding flume into another tunnel. The water felt cooler there, but now she had a choice to make. Ember's instincts took hold. With an acute sense of direction, she turned right, back towards Lake Lucid. She searched, eventually reaching an opening above. "Is this where I think it is?" Emerging out of the water, she continued to follow the tunnel. Something felt familiar. A short distance ahead, a stone door came into focus. This must be the entrance to the glacial caverns, she thought. The cave system must be connected. One day, I'll return to see if that aura dragon was real. She headed towards the temple door. Meanwhile, Rory and Maisie soared across the desert. The sun beat down. A sandstorm loomed ahead. Suddenly, Maisie heard a voice. "Maisie! Go east." "That sounds like Ra," she said. "Rory, we need to go into the storm." "Again?" Rory was skeptical, but they pushed forward anyway. They landed, lost and confused. Rory shielded Maisie under his wing. The sand swirled around them, even just a few feet ahead was barely visible. Fighting against particulate of the relentless sandy gale, they pressed on. Then slush! Maisie sank into quicksand. "Don't move," Rory shouted. "I can't," Maisie cried. "I'll sink." Suddenly, the voice returned, but this time it was muffled and distorted. "That wasn't me before." "Maisie, he is manipulating your ability." It was the Nah. "Sis, there is not much time. Use Rory's wing to escape." Then, just like that, the sun god's voice faded away, as the wailing of the sandstorm faded back. Maisie tells Rory the words of advice. Rory lowered his wing. Maisie grabbed on, and he pulled her free of the sticky gloop. "Thank you," she gasped. "It wasn't Ra that led us here, it must have been Thanarsis." Maisie drank the potion of the mind's eye and closed her eyes. "The crown. It's nearby, south of here." Rory drank the potion of soaring and lifted them into the air. "Over there, Rory, it's an oasis." They flew to the rare patch of desert, palm trees, and vegetation all flourished around a fresh water spring. Maisie jumped off and the heroes drank some water to refresh themselves. Another swig of the potion and Maisie saw something buried by the largest palm, so she began to dig. Rory helped. Suddenly, clank! "It's the crown!" Maisie shouted. They looked at each other and smiled. "We did it!" Maisie squeaked. "Let's get to the temple," Rory said. Maisie hopped onto his back once again. Rory flew high into the sky. One by one, the heroes arrived at the Temple of Windermere. Miles and Tullius carried the shaft. Maisie and Rory landed with the golden crown, then headed down into the temple. But wait! "Where is Ember?" cried Maisie. Before they had time to think, knock. Knock. A banging on stone could be heard. "It's coming from the entrance to the glacial caverns," said Tullius. The elder rushed over and whack. He hit the switch with his stick. Waiting in anticipation, out of the darkness, Ember emerged with the sapphire stone. Phew! They all gasped. Suddenly, Ember clutched her head. "I'm seeing something, flames." "A shadow in the water?" Miles stepped forward. "It's happening again. The illusions are growing stronger." Maisie looked at the seal. "We need to fix the staff and open the final door." They fitted the 3 pieces together. Click! The sapphire glowed bright blue. Tullius slotted the sapphire staff into the final pedestal and the seal on the temple door cracked. "Get ready," Tullius said. "Thanasis is waiting." Tullius gripped the staff and with a twist the door creaked open. Inside appeared empty. A dark chill gave them goosebumps. As they stared, silence, and then a mass of ghastly whispers haunted their thoughts. But the heroes stepped forward. Because this was their realm. Their story. Their time. The end. Moral of the story. Though far apart, they fought as one. Together in spirit. Until the quest was done.
Bitzskee.